Well, Ben, it's fantastic to see you, and fantastic. I think that Larne Football Club, despite some of the frustrations and challenges of the season, have still got a dream that's very much alive of getting into Europe because you're 2 games away from making this a successful season, aren't you?
Yeah, we are. And to be fair, like the season probably hasn't went the way that we all wanted it to go, fans and players and management alike. But as you say, we've got a root still in the European football, which at the start of the season was the aim for everyone around the club. Obviously, you want to go on and win the league, um, or finish as high up the league as you can. That didn't happen for us this year, which was frustrating because with the squad that we've got, we should definitely be doing a lot better. But no one knows that better than the players themselves. But we've got a chance now to redeem ourselves and get European football back to Larne starting tomorrow night.
How much of a buzz has there been about training? Because I think when it comes down to it, as I say, you're 2 games away from doing something that Larne have only done once in their history before.
Yeah, training's been good. Obviously, we had to just put the season behind us. I think going into the split, we had a good chat about that we would use the split now, playing against the top five teams in the league, um, to go and prepare ourselves as best we can for a European playoff. So over the past few weeks, we've sort of just been working on different things that we'll try and do. Hopefully over the next 2 games, but starting tomorrow night. And as you say, it's to bring European football back to Larne is will be a massive achievement for us this year. It's not what we wanted, but it's European football is the end goal.
Over those 5 games, it just seemed that everyone had come together again. That some of the mistakes have been ironed out. There seems to be a belief, a togetherness, a kind of momentum, and also defending right from the front of the pitch all the way to the back.
Yeah, I definitely think it gave everyone a lift. Whenever we sat down and we had that chat, that whatever had happened up until then had just been scrapped because it doesn't affect anything now. We couldn't finish any higher up the table. We couldn't finish. We sort of knew our fate going into the split, so we wanted to go out and give a good account of ourselves. And going into the match tomorrow night, everything is, as I say, has been geared towards that. And as you pointed out there, that the mistakes and stuff have been eradicated, and hopefully we can keep them to a minimum. Mistakes happen in football, but we seem to be punished for mistakes this year that maybe all our teams aren't getting punished for. But that's what it is, and that's football, and we deal with that. But we just move on now to tomorrow night.
And at the other end, I think it's just about converting many of the chances that you do make, because you do make an awful lot of chances. It's just kind of being ruthless when it matters.
Yeah, to be fair, the gaffer harps on about box entries and getting the ball in the box and getting into zones where we can assist the strikers. But that, to be fair, as I said, we've played against the top five teams now in the split, and we have created good chances. We probably could have came away with more in those games. Um, Obviously, it's good that Davy got 2 goals there in the last game just to get his confidence back, and hopefully that's a bit of form now going into tomorrow night. And it's about adding goals to our game because our performances have been good. But it's about being clinical, and when we are dominating the ball and dominating possession, um, it's about executing that and going and winning the game and taking teams to the sword as well.
And I think also, for yourself, it'll be special to get into Europe, bearing in mind you've not been in Europe as a player with Larne Football Club. You're there sat with the fans.
Yeah, exactly. I played last year in the first round with Coleraine, just in the first leg, and then I missed the second leg with COVID. So obviously I was there as a spectator then for the Pacos, both of those games. So it'll be nice. Obviously, I wasn't there when they experienced the atmosphere around Inver in those games. So it'll be nice to hopefully be in and around that.
You mentioned the atmosphere. How important is it? Because when Inver's rocking, it seems to be an incredible place to play your football.
It's massive. To be fair, the pitch helps us big time, especially if I like to play football and get the ball forward quickly and get in behind teams. But as you say, in those big games, like the ones I can think of, the Linfield in the Irish Cup, the Glentoran game, we won 2-0 that night. Even the Coleraine game in the first game of the season, both sets of fans created a massive atmosphere. Although I got a bit of stick, it's all part and parcel of the game. But and I fully expect that tomorrow night again. Coleraine will get as well, or another team that are well travelled. Although they haven't been going well, they'll see it as a route in the European football, and I would expect them to bring a good fan base with them tomorrow. So hopefully both sets of fans can create a good atmosphere tomorrow night, and hopefully both sets of teams can create a good game and Larne come out on top.
I know getting into Europe is the key, but your season so far, the stats are looking good. 5 goals, I think 15 or 16 assists, and 3 of those 5 goals against Coleraine.
Yeah, to be fair, it's a numbers game at the end of the day, especially for myself when I'm looking back at it. And I always want to try and beat the season. And last season I had 20 goal involvements, which was 18 goals and 2 assists. So it's sort of flipped this year now, and it's went to 5 goals and 18 assists. But the numbers are better, and it's something that I pride myself on. If I'm assisting or if I'm scoring, it doesn't matter as long as we are getting the result that we need.
It's funny, you talk about football, and there are cliches in football like players that don't celebrate against their old teams, and then there are players that celebrate an awful lot against their old teams.
It's an emotional game, and to be fair, the first game of the season it was sort of will I won't I, and when I scored later on, and in the circumstances and the abuse that I took for the 90 minutes, it's all part and part of it. Just to give a bit back to the fans. It's like, look, it's football at the end of the day. There's no malice in it. I don't mean any harm by it, or I'm not trying to rub one up fans. They give me a bit of abuse, and if I do something good, it's a bit of crack back with them. But that's what it is, and there's nothing there that against Coleraine or their fans. Like after the match finishes, I talk to every player, I talk to the manager, and I've kept in contact with a lot of Coleraine people, and I see people in and around the town and stuff, and that'll say hello. So it's football. Once that 90 minutes is over, it's put away.
There've been some huge battles between Coleraine and Larne over recent seasons, and this season Larne have had the upper hand, winning the home games. How much of an advantage is that going into a one-off game like this?
No, well, obviously Inver, we want to make Inver. I know it's cliche, but we want to make Inver a fortress. We want to make it hard for teams to come there, and that make them really have to work if they want to get what they need from the game. If a team's coming, they take 3 points off us, they're going to have to work for it. Or if a team's coming, they beat us in a European playoff, they're going to have to work for it. But it's up to us as playing and the staff to make sure that is. It's not easy for someone to come and just roll us over at Inver, because we want it, as I say, to be a fortress, and we want to have a good record here.
You mentioned a chat just before the split. I imagine there were some very honest opinions and some very sort of strong opinions about what had come before, and the fact that it's about almost drawing a line there and saying, right, we're going into the split and we're going to get Europe.
Yeah, there was no hard feelings in the chat. It was sort of listen. It doesn't take a scientist to work out where we're at this year. It's everyone can see it. It was sort of like a rallying sort of chat of like, right, we know what we have to do. We'll have to be pulling in the same sort of direction, which we have been all year. To be fair, just our fortunes have came up a bit short, or we've probably shot ourselves in the foot a few times. But everything was sort of just like, right, we'll just give it our shot now, and we'll work as hard as we can on the training pitch and on the field for these European playoffs, and we'll just give it everything. And listen, if we give it everything and we're beat, then at least we've given it everything, and we can go back to the drawing board and we'll reevaluate after that. But listen, we'll go for it tomorrow night, and we'll see where that takes us.
And I imagine you're also looking forward to a pre-season with Larne Football Club, having not had one. I mean, when players tell me that's when you see the benefit of maybe a second season, after coming in to a club straight into a season, if that makes sense.
Yeah, I would agree. I definitely want to see myself with the benefit of another pre-season. We've got a good fitness coach in Mick, Mick O'Boyle, who, to be fair to him, all year round, he keeps on top of us about our weight and our training load and even our eating and stuff. So I'm looking forward to getting a good pre-season working under Mick and seeing what his methods are. No player likes pre-season, but as you say, when you move to a new club, it might give you that wee boost of, I'm settled now and I can really implement myself into the team. Obviously, I've tried my best to do that this year, but I definitely agree with you on the pre-season thing, and it's another extra few weeks of seeing where you're really at as well.
And you mentioned Coleraine were the first team to play in this season at Inver Park. You've got to make sure they're not the last team you're going to play at, haven't you now?
Exactly. Well, hopefully they are the last and we go to the Oval, or, well, we would take Glenavon on Friday night, but as you say, we want to hopefully replicate the result that we had on the first night of the season, and it's us playing on Friday night.
And just a final point, what sort of good has the split done? It looks like everyone is just a bit lifted, a bit more confident, and a bit happier. Bearing in mind you've got results, and that's what results do. They feed the confidence.
Exactly that. You're picking up points. We went to Windsor and we went to Solitude, the teams first and second league, and we probably could have came away winning both those games. It's on another day we probably would have, but we were working on different things throughout the game. Players were being rotated. It gives everyone that boost. It sort of gave a few players a bit of a rest as well that needed just a rest out of the legs, because not that the games were nothing games. Obviously, every game means something to the players and it means something to the fans and the management. But there's players there that being replaced with someone else are still getting the rest in the legs, but the quality in the team is still there, if you know what I mean. So it was just to keep everyone fit and raring to go now, going into tomorrow night, and give the gaffer a full squad to select from. So we'll see where he's at with that. Whoever plays tomorrow night, I'm sure will give it everything.
I've got to say, you look ready.
Yeah, looking forward to it, definitely. I think that the whole squad now is just mentally ready for tomorrow night. We definitely have put a lot of work into it, and we know the task that's ahead of us tomorrow. So looking forward to it. Get about 8 here now, rest up, and then look forward to tomorrow.
And does that make it easier? I said it was the final question. That was like 3 questions ago, but this really is the final one. You've got a group there, a squad of players who did it the hard way last season. Does that help with doing it the hard way again?
Yeah, even you look at the title last week with Linfield. I think they won the title because they had players that have been there and done it. The same way we have players in our squad now that have been there and done it last year. They played every game of the season that was able to be played last year. They're resilient enough to know. Listen, the fitness and everything like that's no question. We're all designed and we're all physically prepared to go for. We could go for another 10 games, but hopefully we go for another 2, and we end up with European football and we get a well deserved break.